Hi, my little fruity tutti fruities. It's so great to have you here, and I'm super excited today because I have a lovely person I want to introduce you to, and her name is Lissa Raimondi. She has her own YouTube channel called Lissa's Raw Food Romance, and I've been watching quite a few of her videos lately, and I think she has some really priceless messages for you. So I wanted to get her on to chat about those things. So today we're going to talk about perfectionism specifically. But just before we get going, Lissa, you've been low-fat, raw vegan for about 15 months now, right?
Yeah, I think today is day 448, but I don't remember exactly. I keep track for YouTube, but I check on YouTube because I don't keep track at home on paper. Just for my fans.
That is a really good way of doing it, actually, to keep some kind of blog and then like an online blog, and then you have a permanent record, and it's fantastic. Yeah. She's lost 70 pounds in that time, and she's healed from a whole bunch of things, which I'm going to get her to tell you about in a minute. But she actually worked in natural health for about 10 years and knew about the whole raw food diet experience, but couldn't stick with it until she learnt that really fundamental principle of eating enough fruit calories and lowering the fat. So, welcome. I know I've already said that, but
hi, it's awesome to be here.
And just tell us briefly about what it was like for you in the beginning, and what kind of benefits you've seen from eating this way.
Okay, in the beginning, because I was eating really bad right before I decided to do the raw vegan. I never had a vegan connection, so I was always, whenever I do raw, sometimes there would be raw dairy or cheese and stuff, sometimes raw fish, and but back then that was what I did for the last 10 years that I knew about it. So I never really had the vegan connection, and then I watched Cowspiracy, Earthlings, and Forks Over Knives, and then I was like, I'm vegan now, I guess. So, but I always knew about the raw, and every time I would try the raw in the last 10 years, I would always fall off after a couple weeks because I would be eating so high fat and restricting my calories because I was trying to lose weight at the time. Like every time that I would try it, and it just wasn't working, and I'd fall off, and I'd be like, maybe I need to eat cooked food, maybe I need animal products and everything. So eventually when I watched that, I was like, I'm going to be vegan now, and I know raw is the best. So I started watching more of the 80-10-10ers and keeping it low fat and really high fruit, and then I had to break the mindset, especially in the beginning. It was really hard to break the mindset of eating enough calories because we're all like indoctrinated to eat like 1,400 calories if you want to lose weight. So I was in that mindset, even though I wasn't doing it for weight loss. I kept thinking, I can't eat this much fruit. I can't eat all of this food because I'm going to gain weight. But I was just and that's when I flipped into focusing on only health. And just making sure I got all my nutrients, making sure I got enough energy. And then with time, the more you do it, the more days that go by, the easier it is to accept that you're eating, like whatever. When I lost my weight, I was eating 2,100 to 2,300 calories a day. And it did take a little while for me to find that balance of where I felt best with my calories. But I would never go under, I tried to never go under 2,000. So... And now I'm at, some days I'm up to 2,700 calories to maintain my weight now, because if I keep eating low, I'm just going to keep losing weight, and I can't do that. So I had to increase. But it's sort of individual. Like, you really need to find out where you feel comfortable eating a certain calorie count. So, in the beginning it was tough to get over that emotional stuff.
And I really hear you on finding that sweet spot with the amount of calories you need. And it's obviously in the beginning there's a lot of playing around with how much you're eating and how much you're exercising. You really don't know, but then after a while you get a really good feel for what your body needs each day. And if you start having those cravings for salty foods or sweet foods, it's a really clear indication that you haven't eaten enough.
Exactly.
Great. So Lissa, I was watching this video that you made recently about perfectionism, and it really touched me. The message really resonated with me because I see a lot of people trying to be low-fat raw vegan or trying to be raw vegan who are really hung up on being puristic about not consuming certain things and sticking to it 100%. And, then they kind of yo-yo off and end up binging on all sorts of crap. And I thought your message was really sensible for people starting out. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I am not a purist. But a lot of people think I am because it depends on where you're coming from. If you are eating, junk food, you're going to look at my diet and be like, she's an extreme purist. But if you're coming from a purist point of view, you're going to look at my diet and be like, she's not perfect enough. So you're never going to please everybody. You're always going to look extreme to some, and you're always going to look not perfect to others. And I've had lots of people say, because I eat still, cashews aren't technically considered raw. Neither is nutritional yeast because they heat it to high temperatures. What else is there? Coconut aminos, some people say, are kind of like MSG with the nutritional yeast as well. And then you get some people talking about spices and garlic and all of that being irritants to the body. And this is there are a group of people who really nitpick the little tiny things and you can't have tea and because it's boiled and heated, and I'm like, oh my god. I can't go there. I just don't cook any of my food. So to some people that looks like perfection. Depends where you come from, but I just don't cook my food, and if I want spices, if it's gonna keep me raw and vegan, then I'm going to put red pepper flakes in my salad, and I'm going to eat garlic, and I'm going to have coconut aminos, and maybe I'll have some nori here, because some people are saying even the sea vegetables are, not vegan, because if they cultivate it, they have, they get the little bugs, or, the little, not bugs, but bugs in the lettuce. If you're cultivating lettuce, you get bugs and you're washing them down the drain, so it's still, killing life, and, you get some, especially vegans, too, that are what about this and that and the other thing, and I'm I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm eating the best that I can, and I'm eating better than I did before, a billion times better. I'm not eating chips and, animals, and I'm not eating dairy, and I'm not eating junk food and cooked food and any of that, and I feel free from my food addictions that I had before. So if having a little garlic in my salad dressing, if it keeps me raw, then why not? Why go into that obsessive mindset where I can't actually have garlic and then actually not enjoy your salad? And then with time, because you're not eating enough, because you're not, having those little things in there, you fall off, and then all of a sudden you're, you really fall off, and you're, like you said, binging on whatever. And then some people end up not being vegan anymore, which is the most important thing. I think that the principles, my principles are, you stay low fat, you eat enough calories, you stay vegan, and, if you... For certain people, if they need to have a certain thing in their diet that's not quite considered raw, then I don't find that there's any issue with that. So it's not like it's the end of the world or anything. But yeah, I just can't be a purist.
Yeah, and I think the distinction that you made about, looking at where you come from and comparing what you eat today with what you ate a year ago or 2 years ago is much healthier, a much more healthy way of approaching than comparing yourself to someone else who's been doing this for 30 years. You might compare yourself to Dr. Doug Graham, who's been doing this for 30 years. He's had, 10 years of vegetarian, 10 years of vegan, 10 years of high-fat, raw vegan, and then, finally found the kind of way of eating that he eats now, which is very, very refined, I would say. But in the beginning, go easy on yourself. You know, I think that message is really important. And there's one other thing you said that was really great too, but I've forgotten it right now. But anyway, that's great. So just aware of the time, but so just give us a really brief example of what you would eat in a day.
Okay. Every single morning I have a banana smoothie. That's like, and people say, isn't it boring? And I'm like, you know what? It's food, and I can get bananas in Alberta, Canada, where it's cold. And some people are like, it's not, all this variety and stuff. And I'm like, I get bananas here. I'm grateful that I can. So that's what I'm going to eat. And that's what I see as food. So I just eat what I know as food. Instead of focusing on what I can't have, I focus on what I can and what's available. And that helps with mindset too. But I'll have like 4 to 5 bananas and like 4 or 5 dates, ice and berries, some kind of berries. Like we have Canadian berries here, and I like sea buckthorn too, is really good. With water, and I blend that up, and that's my smoothie in the morning. But before that, I'll have some lemon water. Like when I get up, I'll have a liter of lemon water, and then I have my smoothie. And then lunch is typically a fruiting vegetable salad, kind of like tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, zucchinis, those kinds of vegetables, and sometimes lettuce, sometimes not. But my dressing is always date-based and sometimes has seeds or nuts. I tend to keep my nuts to dinner, like the heavier fats to my dinner meal, because I find that if I eat over, like, my best is 8% fats for me. But if I find I go up to the 12-15%, then I pass out. I'm just so tired from the fats are just so heavy on my system. So I tend to keep the fattier stuff to dinner. But yeah, lunch is a really light salad, and it's quite huge. I'll have like, a popcorn bowl full. And and my dressing is date-based, typically with the spices, or I'll make a sweet mustard one. And I've got tons of recipes on my YouTube channel. Making a recipe book too.
Awesome. So that's in process. It's not completed yet.
No, it's not. No.
Okay, so if people go to Lissa's Raw Food Romance, is that right, on YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah.
And they subscribe to your channel, they'll obviously get updates about that. So that would be a really good thing to do. Now,
so typically,
sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. What were you going to say? You go first.
Oh, I was going to finish my day. So I'll have, typically it's my French dressing that I put on that salad for lunch. And then in between breakfast and lunch and dinner, I'm eating fruit. So I'm having like apples and bananas like crazy. I eat, on average now, I eat about 10 to 12 a day, give or take. Some days more, some days less, but that's an average. And I eat those like throughout the day. That's just my fast food. If I feel like something, I just grab a banana. And with time, it becomes so natural that you just do it. And you don't even think about having chips or whatever like you used to, right? So yeah, I just grab a banana and eat it, or an apple or grapes or whatever we have. Pineapple I've been eating a lot of lately, so it just depends on what's in season, what's cheap, because I just go by what I can get, and bananas are cheap, and I just get whatever I can get. If it's going to be expensive, then I'm not going to get it. And, okay, so I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but dinner will just be either one of my raw food recipes on my channel, or I just make another really big salad, but it's mostly greens. So it'll be like a whole head of romaine lettuce and like more fruity vegetables, and then that salad dressing will have my fats in it, so like my chia seeds, or I'll make a cashew based thing or whatever. And all my dressings will have like, not all of them, but some will have like nutritional yeast or coconut aminos. Sometimes a little bit of salt if I feel like I have low blood pressure symptoms, because I have low blood pressure. But yeah, that will be my dinner. And then sometimes if I feel like something at the end of the day, I'll have nice cream. Some more bananas.
Yum, I love nice cream. So good.
But I was going to talk about the prices, like the expensive fruits and things like that. I do my budget for the winter. So my food grocery budget is for the winter months where things are more expensive. So when the summertime comes, I have extra cash that I can either save or put aside. Because a lot of people will start maybe they start in the summer and they're like, oh, it's cheap, and then winter comes along and they're like, no, it's expensive. Yeah. But if you budget for the winter, in the summer months it's cheap, and you can do more and you can save money, and it's not hard on your mental, financial mindset.
So do you have a good handle on how much you'd be spending a week at the moment?
Yeah, it's about $75 a week for me, and that's Canadian, so I think it's close to Aussie.
Yeah,
I think it's 50 US.
Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But, I mean, most of the food that I buy is, like, the majority of my calories come from bananas and lettuce, really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm eating tons of bananas, and they're cheap. Yeah. And then apples right now are really cheap, so I'm eating those. And, I can get 6 heads of romaine lettuce for $4 at Costco. So, I spend most of my bulk of my calories on the cheap stuff, and then I'll get my pineapple if I have extra cash or whatever. Like, you just work with what you have.
Yeah. That sounds like that's what I do as well. The other day I walked into this is the big local supermarket, and they had papayas on special for $1 a kilo, and the lowest I've seen them here is $3 a kilo. So, so I bought, I don't know, 20 kilos of papaya, or maybe more than that. I don't know, 30, like a lot. I bought a lot. And they're not ripe, so they'll be ripening over the next couple of weeks, and that will be, what we'll be eating for the next week or so.
Yeah,
so stocking up is my big tip too. So Melissa, just really, really quickly, because we've got to finish, can you just list off some of the things you've healed from?
Oh, yeah. Well, top down, my mental fog and mental clarity has improved. Like, the fog's gone away, the clarity's there. My vision hasn't gotten worse, which my eye doctor was quite surprised about, because every single time I've gone to the eye doctor, it's gotten worse, and I've had to get a worse prescription. But this time, it was about 3 years since I'd seen them, and they were both, like, the optician and the doctor were both confused why my eyesight hadn't changed, and she said the health of my eyes was improved as well. So, my vision has improved, my acne, oh my god. I used to have horrible acne, like, mostly on my cheeks and my chin, and it just was there for like 10 years, 15 years, and just nothing, no fish oils and creams or whatever would get rid of it, but the raw vegan did, and it's the hydration and everything for that. I lost 70 pounds. My joints don't hurt anymore. They used to hurt like crazy whenever I would do squats or go running or whatever. Candida's gone. Candida's gone. It's gone eating fruit, which is awesome. Because I think it's the high fat that causes the candida problems. Let's see what else. My sleep has improved dramatically. I used to be addicted to energy drinks and coffee, and I would basically live on that, and I would wake up every single night at 3 o'clock in the morning with heart palpitations, and I'd feel like I was having a heart attack, but it was more like a panic attack, kind of, and then I start thinking about what if I was actually having a heart attack, and then I couldn't get back to sleep, and then I was snoring all the time, too. My husband was waking me up like 15 times a night. Yeah, but my sleep has improved dramatically, and I need less sleep now, too, because I feel it's deeper, it's fuller, and I get more quality out of it, so I can wake up earlier and get more stuff done. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
My digestion has improved. Oh, my circulation, and, like, my metabolism has been dramatically different, because when I was eating cooked food and doing, like, the low-calorie, high protein fat thing, I was always cold, and, like, my extremities, like my hands and feet, ears were always cold all the time and warming up and everything. But this winter, and last winter too, but more so this winter, I'm always warm. And it's because I'm eating enough calories for my body to function properly. And I think that the calorie restriction is what's causing all of these. Like, I'm so cold when I go raw, because you're not eating enough food. You need to eat enough for your furnace to run, right? So I think that's a huge thing that's changed as well. And my hormones too. My hormones have balanced out like crazy. Like, perfect. Like, I can track my female cycle to the day. and there's a zero pain, there's no PMS, there's no cramps, there's no cravings, there's no nothing. It's just like, oh, it's there. And it's great, and it's clockwork, and yeah, it's
wow.
just so many improvements. It's hard to name them all.
Yeah, your symptoms just mirror mine virtually exactly. You know.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, I had the candida. I had really bad digestive problems. So maybe mine were a bit worse than yours, but
yeah.
But I had the acne. I had the joint pain. I had all of those things, and all of those things have sorted themselves out as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lissa. It's been so great to talk to you, and definitely have you back on again to chat about more, because I think you have so much to offer. I'm really looking forward to seeing your book when it comes out, and I'll put the link to Lissa's YouTube just below in the description. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.
Thanks for on.